This mid-morning, let's answer a question from Reddit and then meditate. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This morning, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Princess Leia during the training she received on Ajahn class under the guidance of her brother Luke, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. If at any point during this morning's live stream you have a question about meditation or philosophy or even chanting, there's no need to be shy. Simply type your question in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. So, Jack High 21 on Reddit asked, is it possible to awaken without a teacher or guide? So let's explore that. And what we can do is sample, just like a DJ might do, we can sample different times from the life of the Buddha, whether the Buddha was real or merely archetypical. According to the story, according to perhaps the fable, he was raised in privilege, and as such he received he was taught martial arts, and he was taught the arts and sciences, including reading and writing, which helped him, and composition. And as a young man, relatively speaking, he left home to become a monk. He ordained himself. He eventually found not one but two teachers, studied their systems thoroughly, and even though he was lauded by those teachers as having mastered their systems, it still wasn't what he was looking for. And of course, I can't utter that phrase without thinking about that song by U2. Oh, sorry, U2. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. So he then went on to practice austerities with the companions of fellow ascetics in the forest. He did this for many years. I want to say 5, maybe 7. I'm not sure the exact number. But then he had an epiphany that he should, and based on that epiphany, he stopped practicing asceticisms. So he had 2 teachers. He had a peer group. He practiced what they had to teach. And then he had an epiphany, and he acted on that epiphany. So the Buddha's epiphany did not occur in a vacuum. Buddha's epiphany was, I would say, an educated epiphany. Think of it this way. Traditionally, a farmer would prepare the soil, sow the seeds, water the seeds, and then through the miracles of biology, the seeds would grow into plants, and the plants would ripen, and he would harvest them. And although there are many things in that process out of the hands of the farmer, there were some things the farmer was able to do. Similarly, when we look at the life story of the Buddha, what are the things the Buddha did to prepare the soil of his heart? Well, he learned to read, write, and compose, at the very least. He learned mental training and physical training. He left home. He had 2 teachers, a peer group. And so he was gung-ho practicing all they had to teach. But in addition to his enthusiasm, he also possessed flexibility and surrender. And when the time was right and insights came to him, he experimented with those insights. And when he liked those results, he shared them. When he liked those results and mastered those results, he shared them with others. So if we're going to practice in the Buddha's footsteps, whether the Buddha is real or archetypical, that's what we have to bear in mind, that the Buddha started over several times. He started over when he left the palace. He started over once, twice with teachers, a third time with peer group, and a fourth time he started over again on his own. So at the very least, the Buddha gives us sets an example of courageous, laid back vulnerability. So, excuse me, in this so-called information age, we have an embarrassment of riches. There are many books, and there are many teachers, and there are many YouTube channels. But so how are you to know which one to rely upon? Simple. Stick with one. Learn one technique from one channel. Play with that technique for about 5 or 10 minutes every 12 hours for 7 consecutive days, which is about 14 times, which is a commitment of about 140 minutes divided by 7 days. It's not a huge commitment. So at the end of the week, notice your results. If you feel that your peace and your wisdom and your joy and your love have not improved, then find a different technique, perhaps even a different teacher. That's fine. That doesn't make you a quitter. That means you have intellectual integrity and you are following the results of your experimentation, which is great. Hopefully, you will come across a technique and a teacher that, when practiced, increases your peace and wisdom and love and joy, and that that can really, really help you. That can indicate to you that you found something that, for you at this time, is potent. So, the cool thing is, you don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to invent technology. You don't have to invent a new alphabet. You don't have to invent a new human body. You already have one. You can use the tools at your disposal to become the person that your dog already thinks you are. I'm now going to subject you to about 1 minute of housekeeping. Every 12 hours, I broadcast 1 or 2 meditation classes. This is my second meditation class of the morning, without any ads other than this. I just made a very dramatic gesture, which you could not see. In fact, I might want to adjust this just so you can see my dramatic gestures in the future. Let's see here. Let's scroll down. Have some fun with this. Okay. Let's see if I click Alt. Is it Alt I click? Yes. And do I click this way? Yes. Do I drag this way? Yes. Now I'm in dramatic gesture cam. What's not to love about this? There you go. There you go. Anywho, with your help, this channel could come to support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick and mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If this speaks to you, if it sounds like a good idea, and you'd like to help out, even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, cool. Use your smartphone camera to capture this QR code, or simply click a donation link in the description area below the video. Okay, so let's skedaddle over here. Excuse me. I'm the mayor of Mucus, so you're going to hear a lot of noises. We're going to start right now with right view and right aspiration, specifically preliminary practice, which is also known as vipassana or vipassana, depending on which language you want to use. So I've said all that to say this. Let's train the neural pathways responsible for empathy and enthusiasm through the simple practice of chanting the recitations of so-called bodhicitta and refuge. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. We turn now to mantra meditation, beginning by reviewing the meaning of the mantra. So please chant with me. And if you've just joined, remember, if at any point you have a question about meditation or philosophy or chanting, don't be shy. Simply type your question in the chat window. Please chant with me. Om I invoke the wish-fulfilling Mani, true love, and the purifying beamy lotus of letting go, supplicating with whom may love and letting go be mastered by all. And yes, the wish-fulfilling Mani jewel is just a metaphor for love, and the purifying Pemi lotus is just a metaphor for letting go. Let us consider this bronze photographed on the page before us. It is known in Sanskrit as Avalokiteshvara, which could translate into English as he who notices the world's sorrows. In Tibetan, this individual, this figurine, is known as Chain Rei Zig, which translates into either kind gaze or kind eyes. The iconography of this yadam, or archetype of enlightenment, functions merely to organize the 8 metaphors necessary for deeply transformative mantra meditation. I call it mantra meditation, but it's really mantra contemplation. Contemplation being active, meditation being passive. Welcome aboard. If you've just joined, remember, when you have questions about philosophy, meditation, or chanting, type them in great detail in the chat window. We come now to love and letting go. Let's see, this is my second lesson, so which synonym shall I use? How about Maha Yoga? We're going to begin with right wishes. In other words, we're going to train in love to help us to transcend our competitive tendencies, because cooperation always trumps competitiveness. May all minds of all beings know me as peaceful and wise as a Buddha's mind, symbolized by a one-syllable mantra known as a Siddha Bija mantra. So as an agnostic practice that neither believes nor disbelieves in the existence or non-existence of celestial entities, what are we doing with this word may? Well, may here is not a way of praying, it's a way of guiding our will, our intention. If we want to be fancy and play Scrabble, our volition. Those 4 lines shrink down into just one line. We recite that line silently and mentally during our inhalation. During our exhalation, while we're chanting the 6-syllable mantra, we physically relax as best we can. Om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum. And so a question which may have crossed your mind is, why do we use similes when figures of speech can just be so very confusing? And the answer is, vertebrate life forms on this planet evolved to think symbolically. Therefore, the most effective communicators and hypnotherapists have always relied on figures of speech. Let's chant. May all relationships of all beings now be as joyful and loving and... excuse me. Boy, I'm just a barrel of monkeys, aren't I? From the top. May all relationships of all beings now be as joyful and loving as a Buddha's communication symbolized by the six-syllable mantra. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. May all bodies of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddhist thought of the blissful body of a yidam of lore and archetype of enlightenment. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. May all circumstances of all beings now be as safe and fortunate as a Buddha's paradise pure land or vati of lore. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Let's switch gears from love to letting go, that we might better leapfrog over our clinging tendencies. How is it that as we inhale our circumstances could appear quite vivid, yet as we relax into our exhalation they could feel as non-graspable as a cloudless sky or a vati of light? Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. How is it that as we inhale, our bodies could feel quite sensual? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void or a atom of light. Mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani me me hum. O mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani me me hum. O mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani me me hum. O mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani me me hum. How is it that as we inhale, the interpersonal experience of communication could be quite resounding? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as ungraspable as a cloudless sky or a mantra of light. O mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani pe me hum. O mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani pe me hum. O mani me me ungo mani pe me ungo mani pe me ungo mani pe me hum. O mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani pe me hum. How is it that as we inhale, our mind's functions could seem quite clear? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void or a bija of light. O mani me me ungo mani me me ungo mani pe me ungo mani pe me hum. O mani pe me ungo mani pe me ungo mani pe me ungo mani pe me hum. O mani me me ungo mani pe me ungo mani pe me ungo mani pe me hum. O mani pe me ungo mani pe me ungo mani pe me ungo mani pe me hum. Welcome to the live stream. When you have questions about meditation or philosophy or even chanting, there is no need to be shy. Simply type your question in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. Ironically, this concludes the mantra meditation. We now turn to silent contemplations, which could be described as bliss or letting go, or Anu Yoga. What we're going to do is we're going to bring our experience of the circumstantial into the dance of impermanence and interdependence. We're going to use the verb melt as a metaphor of impermanence that can help us to leapfrog over our clinging tendencies. We're going to use the inference of absorption as a metaphor of interdependence that could help us to leapfrog over our competitive tendencies. During your inhalation, please mentally recite how lots melt. And during your exhalation, please silently and mentally recite into form. And remember, this is a rhetorical question, so don't make it more difficult than it needs to be. Let us switch gears from the circumstantial to the physical. Let us now change gears from the physical to the interpersonal. One moment. We now switch gears from the interpersonal to the mental. Welcome to the live stream. When you have questions about meditation or philosophy or chanting, there's no need to be shy. Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. And now we come to our first silent meditation. This is the first meditation of the entire live stream. So it's super simple. During our inhalation, we mentally recite, feeling this. That's the essence of mindfulness. During our exhalation, we mentally recite, relaxing. That's the essence of meditation. Here's how that works. Whenever we breathe in, we automatically access our sympathetic nervous system, which is wired to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Not concentrate at all, because concentration is active, and what we're doing is passive. Every time we exhale, we are wired to access our parasympathetic nervous system, which helps us to physically relax and mentally release, thus letting go whatever it is we notice during the in-breath. Welcome to the live stream. When you have questions about meditation or philosophy, simply type them in the chat window. We're going to switch gears from passive meditation to active silent contemplation. Let us use figures of speech to wish peace for all minds of all beings. Let us now wish joy for each being's experience of the interpersonal. Let us wish health for all bodies of all beings. Let us wish safety and good fortune for all circumstances everywhere. Excuse me. Let's see. This looks like a likely edit. Let's go over here. Copy, and that won't work. Oh well, enough of that. Let's seal our practice with 4 chants of universal love, beginning with accomplishing mastery of the Eightfold Path and universal liberation. Whoops, we got the display is out of sync. Let's fix that bad boy. May I, like Hange's master, the Eightfold Path as well as liberate others. Let us contemplate the ethics of kindness. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. Let us contemplate impermanence, zeal, and love. May each being take auspicious rebirth, master the Buddha's path, and then help all others do likewise. Let's conclude with the 4 immeasurables. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, freed. If you feel I have earned it, type something in the chat window. Give this live stream a thumbs up and share it on social media. In approximately 3¼ hours, I would very much like to return for this afternoon's meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.